Did you know that something as simple as eating eggs with the wrong food could quietly harm your health, especially after 50? Most seniors think eggs are always a healthy choice, and while they can be, certain food combinations can turn a nutritious breakfast into a hidden health risk. From blocking your medicine's effect to spiking cholesterol, raising blood pressure, or even triggering dangerous food interactions, these mistakes happen every single day, often without anyone realizing it. After 50, your body processes nutrients, fats, and medications differently. Digestion slows down, metabolism changes, and your sensitivity to sodium, cholesterol, and sugar increases. That means the foods you mix with eggs can decide whether they help your body or quietly make your health worse. What's even more concerning is that many of these combinations are part of the classic breakfast millions of seniors eat every morning. For example, pairing eggs with processed meats can overload your heart with sodium and fat. Mixing eggs with grapefruit juice can interfere with your medication. Even something as simple as tea or coffee right after eggs can block iron absorption, leading to fatigue and weakness over time. These are not rare situations. They're small, everyday habits that slowly build up and cause problems you could easily avoid with the right knowledge. In this video, we'll uncover the 10 food combinations you should never eat with eggs, especially if you're over 50. You'll learn which popular breakfast habits silently raise your risk of heart problems, weaken your bones, slow down your metabolism, and even make your medicines less effective. More importantly, you'll find out what to eat instead to protect your energy, balance, and long-term health. Before we begin, let me know in the comments, how often do you eat eggs in a week, and what do you usually pair them with? Bacon, toast, fruit juice, or coffee? Your answer might surprise you once you see what's really happening inside your body when you mix eggs with the wrong foods. Now, let's get into it, starting with the most common and dangerous egg combinations that every senior should avoid. Number 1, bacon, sausage, and other processed meats with eggs. If you are a senior and you eat eggs with bacon, sausage, cured ham, or other processed meats at breakfast, pause and read this. Processed meats add a heavy load of saturated fat, added sodium, and preservatives to a meal that already contains the cholesterol-rich yolk. For older people, many of whom already have high blood pressure, atherosclerosis, or diabetes, stacking eggs with processed meat is a recipe for making the heart work harder over time. Processed meats pack 3 problems. First, they raise total calories and saturated fat. Saturated fat drives up LDL cholesterol in many people, which raises the risk of heart attack and stroke over years. Second, processed meats contain a lot of sodium, often far more than a single person should eat in an entire day. High sodium raises blood pressure. Even small, sustained increases in blood pressure increase the risk of heart events in older adults. Third, processed meats are linked to inflammation markers and long-term risk signals in multiple studies. Frequent intake of these foods correlates with higher rates of cardiovascular disease and mortality in older populations. Now, the specifics for a senior who likes eggs. Eggs are a good source of high-quality protein and many nutrients that older adults need, like vitamin B12, choline, and a mix of fat and protein that helps keep you full. But when eggs are paired with 2 strips of bacon and a sausage patty, the meal becomes a heavy dose of saturated fat and sodium. Over time, that pattern matters. One practical way to protect your heart while still enjoying eggs is to swap processed meat for leaner protein or plant options. For example, a poached egg with a slice of whole grain toast and avocado gives good protein and healthy fat with far less sodium than a typical bacon-laden breakfast. If you have a diagnosis of heart disease, diabetes, chronic kidney disease, or high blood pressure, this swap matters even more. Many seniors with those conditions are already on medicines that control cholesterol and blood pressure. Adding repeated high-sodium, high-saturated fat meals reduces how much control those medicines can give you. Also, watch portion size. An occasional small strip of bacon won't undo a careful diet, but daily heavy servings will add up. Number 2, grapefruit and grapefruit juice with eggs. Grapefruit may be a healthy fruit by itself, but for many seniors it is a dangerous pairing with common medicines. If you eat eggs and drink grapefruit juice for breakfast while you are on certain prescription drugs, the fruit could cause the medicine to build up in your bloodstream and trigger serious side effects. This is not a vague concern. It is a well-known interaction that affects many commonly used heart and blood pressure medicines, certain cholesterol drugs, some statins, and several other drugs older adults often take. How the problem works, in plain terms, grapefruit chemicals block an enzyme in the gut that normally breaks down many drugs. When that enzyme is blocked, the drug gets absorbed at higher levels than your clinician planned. That raises the chance of side effects. For example, higher levels of some statins increase muscle pain and, rarely, dangerous muscle damage. Older adults have slower drug clearance on average, so the same dose produces higher levels than in younger people. Add grapefruit on top of that and the risk grows. This risk matters when you pair a common egg breakfast with grapefruit or grapefruit juice, a popular healthy breakfast combo. People on drugs such as some statins, not all, some statins are less affected, certain blood pressure medicines called calcium channel blockers, and some antiarrhythmic drugs can see their medication levels climb if they eat grapefruit. Small changes can cause dizziness, lightheadedness, muscle pain, or more serious issues depending on the medication. Number 3, large servings of raw leafy greens, spinach, kale, with eggs when you take warfarin, coumadin. For most seniors, eating eggs with a salad or spinach on the side is fine. For a specific group, people taking the blood thinner warfarin, pairing eggs with very large or inconsistent amounts of vitamin K-rich leafy greens can change how well the medicine works. Warfarin's effect depends on vitamin K levels in the body. Foods rich in vitamin K reduce the drug's effect, which raises the chance that clots could form. It is not that you must avoid greens forever, it is that the dose of warfarin is tuned to your usual diet. Sudden increases in vitamin K intake force a dose adjustment and raise short-term risk. If you are on warfarin, the clear rule is consistent intake. Pick a way of eating leafy greens and stick to it day to day. Don't have a small salad one day and a huge plate of spinach the next. If you want to add eggs to a plate that includes spinach, do it in a predictable way. Same portion sizes, same frequency. If you plan to change your diet, tell the clinician who manages your warfarin so your blood test, INR, can be checked and the dose adjusted if needed. Number 4, milk, calcium-rich dairy, and calcium supplements with eggs when you take levothyroxine or certain minerals. Eggs plus a glass of milk are a classic breakfast. For many seniors that can be harmless, but if you take thyroid replacement medicine, levothyroxine, calcium-rich foods and supplements taken at the same time can reduce how well the medicine is absorbed. The result, your thyroid medication may not work as expected, which can leave symptoms of low thyroid function untreated. The interaction happens because calcium binds with the medication in the gut and lowers absorption. Clinical studies show measurable drops in levothyroxine uptake when milk or calcium is taken close to the pill. Similarly, calcium supplements and antacids with calcium have the same effect. This matters for older adults because thyroid medication doses are narrow. Small shifts in absorption change blood levels and symptoms. If you take levothyroxine, pick a consistent routine. Take the pill on an empty stomach at least 30 to 60 minutes before breakfast and avoid calcium-containing foods or supplements for at least 2 to 4 hours afterward. That timing keeps the medicine working reliably. If your doctor prescribes calcium supplements for bone health, schedule them at a time separated from your thyroid pill. Number 5, soy products, tofu, soy milk, with eggs if you take thyroid medication. Soy is common in many diets and can be part of a healthy plate with eggs. But for older adults on levothyroxine, Soy foods and soy milk can interfere with the medication's absorption in the same way dairy and calcium can. Some studies show that large amounts of soy around the time you take your thyroid pill reduce how much of the medicine enters your bloodstream. The practical fix is straightforward. Take levothyroxine on an empty stomach and wait at least 30 to 60 minutes before eating. Better yet, wait 2 to 4 hours before having soy products if possible. If you rely on soy regularly, keep your routine consistent and tell your doctor so test results can be interpreted correctly. Most people do not need to avoid soy forever. They only need to avoid taking it close to thyroid medication. For seniors who do not take thyroid medicine, soy and eggs together pose no special risk beyond general diet choices. But if you are on thyroid pills, pay attention to timing and consistency. Guidance from multiple clinical sources highlights soy as a potential factor that lowers levothyroxine absorption. Number 6, raw egg foods, homemade mayonnaise, hollandaise, Caesar dressing, and undercooked eggs. Raw or undercooked eggs carry a risk of salmonella infection. For healthy young people, that risk is often mild, but for seniors, the stakes are higher. Older adults have weaker immune systems and are more likely to be hospitalized with foodborne infections. Homemade sauces that use raw eggs, like mayonnaise, hollandaise, or some Caesar dressings, can contain bacteria when eggs are contaminated. Also, runny fried eggs and soft-cooked eggs carry a slight risk compared with fully cooked eggs. If you are a senior, avoid raw egg recipes at home unless you use pasteurized eggs or follow specific safe handling steps. Pasteurized eggs have been heat-treated to kill bacteria and are much safer for use in recipes that won't be fully cooked. When you buy eggs, store them in the fridge, throw out cracked shells, and cook them until both the white and yolk are firm when safety is the goal. If you are dining out, ask how the eggs are cooked and avoid dishes that use raw egg if your immune system is weak. Food safety authorities routinely warn seniors and pregnant people to avoid raw eggs because salmonella outbreaks linked to eggs continue to occur. The CDC and food safety agencies list eggs among foods that can cause severe illness when handled or cooked improperly. Number 7, very high salt packaged breakfasts and instant foods with eggs. Eggs plus instant noodles, packaged soups, canned sides, or salty breakfast sandwiches add a silent danger: sodium. Many packaged breakfast items contain very high levels of salt and hidden preservatives. For seniors who already have high blood pressure, heart disease, or kidney problems, a single high-salt meal can raise blood pressure and stress the cardiovascular system. Repeated exposure to high daily sodium clearly raises the risk of heart attack and stroke over time. When eggs are part of a quick meal with processed bread, instant sauces, or canned sides, check the nutrition labels. Look for lower sodium options or reduce portion size. Replace instant sauces with fresh tomatoes or herbs. Choose whole grain toast without added salt, and limit canned or pre-prepared sides. If you have hypertension, aim to keep daily sodium in a lower range as advised by your doctor. Cutting back on processed sides and meat is one of the most effective moves. Sodium reduction is a cornerstone of preventing and managing high blood pressure in older adults. You can still enjoy eggs, just pair them with low sodium accompaniments like fresh fruit, plain yogurt, or steamed vegetables. Keeping daily sodium lower reduces blood pressure and lessens strain on the heart and kidneys over years. Number 8, tea or coffee with eggs, especially if you have low iron or take iron supplements. If you like a hot cup of tea or coffee with your eggs, this section matters. Tea and coffee contain plant compounds called tannins and other polyphenols that bind to iron in the gut and cut how much your body absorbs. The effect is strongest for non-heme iron, the iron in plant foods and fortified products, but it can also reduce absorption from mixed meals. For a senior who already has low iron, is being treated for iron deficiency anemia, or takes iron pills, drinking tea or coffee right with breakfast can make it harder to correct low iron or keep iron levels stable. How big is the effect? Studies show a single cup of coffee can cut iron absorption by roughly 30 to 40% compared with water, and a strong cup of tea can reduce it even more, sometimes by more than half when measured in controlled tests. That matters when a meal is an important source of daily iron, and it matters more for people whose iron stores are already low. Long-term, habitually drinking strong tea or coffee with iron-poor meals raises the risk that iron intake will fall short of needs. Practical rules that work. If you take iron supplements, take them at least 1 to 2 hours away from tea or coffee. If you rely on plant-based iron sources, beans, lentils, fortified cereal, avoid drinking tea or coffee with those meals. If you enjoy a cup with breakfast, move it to 60 to 90 minutes after the meal. If you need to boost iron absorption during a meal, add a source of vitamin C, a small glass of orange juice, a few slices of tomato, or a piece of fruit. Vitamin C can counteract the blocking effect and raise the amount of iron your body takes in. For seniors who are not iron deficient, the effect is less dramatic day to day. But older adults often have lower iron stores because of diet changes, medication effects, or chronic conditions. If you have lab tests showing low ferritin or you feel unusually tired and weak, talk to your clinician about when you drink tea or coffee and whether it could be part of the problem. In short, don't pair strong tea or coffee with meals that supply your iron if your iron level is a concern. Number 9, alcohol with eggs or alcohol with any breakfast. Medicine interactions and fall risk. Mixing alcohol with breakfast might seem harmless, but for many seniors it is not. Alcohol is a drug that affects balance, judgment, and reaction time even at low doses. When combined with common prescriptions used by older adults, sleep medicines, benzodiazepines, opioid painkillers, certain antidepressants, and some blood pressure drugs, alcohol can increase drowsiness, dizziness, and the chance of a fall or other injury. Those harms are much more likely in older people because age changes how the body processes alcohol and many drugs. If you take medicines that act on the brain or slow your reactions, adding alcohol increases the risk of falls and related injuries. Studies link alcohol medication combinations to more emergency visits and to higher rates of fractures in older adults. Even 1 or 2 standard drinks can make a difference when medicine and alcohol interact. Besides immediate risk, regular drinking raises blood pressure, can worsen sleep, and can interfere with medicines for diabetes and heart disease. How to manage this risk? First, be clear about what counts as a drink. One standard drink is 12 ounces of beer, 5 ounces of wine, or 1.5 ounces of distilled spirits. Public health guidance for adults over 65 who are otherwise healthy often recommends no more than 7 drinks in a week, with no more than 3 on any single day. If you take routine medications, especially pills that cause drowsiness, slow breathing, or affect balance, the safe level may be 0. Check with your doctor or pharmacist. Never assume a familiar mix is safe. If you are on medicines for anxiety or sleep, pain medicines, muscle relaxants, or strong blood pressure drugs, avoid alcohol around the time you take those pills. If you have trouble walking, a recent fall, or a history of fainting, avoid drinking in the morning or at times when you need to be alert. If alcohol is part of social meals and you want to keep it, tighten other controls, reduce the amount, avoid mixing with sedating medicines, and schedule medicines and drinks apart when possible. If you have liver disease, heart failure, or are on medicines like warfarin or certain antibiotics that interact with alcohol, follow specific medical advice. Also consider non-alcoholic choices at breakfast: sparkling water with lemon, unsweetened tea after the meal, or fruit juices in moderation to lower the chance of a drug-related accident. In short, alcohol with eggs is not just a culinary choice for seniors. It can be a safety issue, especially when medicines are involved. Number 10, eggs with high cholesterol or very high saturated fat seafood and shellfish, shrimp, lobster. Context matters for heart health. Eggs and shellfish each contain dietary cholesterol. For many older adults who are otherwise healthy, eating eggs in moderation fits into a reasonable diet. But problems show up when eggs are paired with other foods that are high in cholesterol or saturated fat, or when this pattern is repeated several times a week in people at risk for heart disease. Shellfish like shrimp and lobster have more cholesterol than many other seafoods. Combined with egg yolks and a high-fat preparation, butter, heavy, creams, fried batter, the meal can raise daily cholesterol and saturated fat intake sharply. The role of dietary cholesterol in heart disease is complex. Recent reviews point out that eggs alone do not automatically raise heart risk for everyone. Still, in some populations, people with existing cardiovascular disease, diabetes, or certain metabolic disorders, higher intake of dietary cholesterol and frequent egg consumption has been associated with higher risk in long-term studies. The key is context. A boiled egg with vegetables and whole grain toast is different from an omelette loaded with butter, cheese, fried shrimp, and a side of creamy sauce. If you have heart disease, prior heart attack, diabetes, or high LDL cholesterol that is not well controlled, avoid combining eggs with high cholesterol shellfish prepared in heavy fats. Choose cooking methods that keep added saturated fat low: poached, boiled, or dry grilled eggs, steamed or broiled fish without a butter sauce, and vegetables instead of creamy sides. If you like shellfish, keep portions small and limit frequency. Aim to keep daily saturated fat low and follow the target LDL goals your clinician set for you. Another practical move is portion control. 1 egg a day is a common guideline in many nutrition plans for older adults who are generally healthy. If you eat more eggs or pair them with cholesterol-dense sides several times a week, check your lipid numbers and talk with your clinician about how to adjust diet or medicines. That way you keep the benefits of eggs, protein, B12, choline, without raising your long-term heart risk in ways you could change. If you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a like and share it with someone who eats eggs every day. They need to see this. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our upcoming health videos. And before you go, watch the next video on your screen right now. It reveals 4 common mistakes that can actually make your eggs unhealthy. You'll be surprised how simple changes can make a big difference for your health.